It has been a roller coaster few weeks for Dallas Cowboys fans, with the star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb sidelined by a high ankle sprain, but the latest injury updates are beginning to tilt things toward optimism, and speculation is mounting that Week 7 might just mark his return from being projected out for weeks to seeing him out of a walking boot and ramping up rehab drills. The narrative has shifted in a hopeful direction. The question now: can the Cowboys get their offensive difference maker back in time to make an impact in yet another crucial NFC East showdown? It all started in Week 3 when Lamb sustained that high ankle sprain during Dallas' matchup against the Bears. Reports soon surfaced that he'd be out for 3 to 4 weeks, which cast a shadow over his availability for several upcoming games. That prognosis, while cautious, set the expectation that he would miss weeks 4, 5, possibly 6, leaving the Cowboys to adjust their passing game without their number one threat. Indeed, in Lamb's absence, targets have been redistributed to George Pickens, Jalen Tolbert, Ryan Flournoy, and even Jake Ferguson as Dak Prescott works to keep the aerial offense functioning. But as the calendar advanced, incremental signs of progress began to emerge. Multiple insiders reported that Lamb was spotted at practice, albeit not yet in full drill participation, working with resistance bands and rehab staff, most notably Joseph Hoyt of the Dallas Morning News observed an acceleration in Lamb's rehab efforts, noting that he had shed the walking boot and was engaging in on-field work off to the side, though he wasn't fully participating in team drills yet. Those rehab efforts mark a turning point in his recovery timeline. In fact, multiple Cowboys insiders and national analysts are aligning on one key possibility: Lamb could be ready for the Week 7 matchup versus Washington. Bleacher Report's Scott Polacek floated that very idea, pointing out that while Lamb didn't practice officially ahead of Week 6, his individual work and rehab progression suggests the Week 7 game is more realistic as a return target that aligns with earlier reporting. Sports Illustrated noted that Lamb's trajectory seemed to be trending toward that Washington game, rather than forcing a return in Week 6. Meanwhile, the Times of India reported that Dallas owner Stephen Jones expects Lamb, along with teammates like Cavante Turpin, Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith, and Tyler Guyton, to potentially return within the next 2 weeks, which would coincide with Week 6 or 7. Still, there are caveats. Lamb has yet to log full participation in team drills, and recovery from a high ankle sprain is notoriously delicate. Rushed too aggressively and setbacks are common. Moreover, ESPN's Todd Archer weighed in suggesting that Week 7 is a more realistic target than Week 6, given where Lamb currently stands in his rehab progress. And while the Cowboys have held out hope so far, the final decision will come on a day-by-day basis, likely based on how Lamb responds to load, contact, and practice reps as the week unfolds. From a team perspective, Lamb's absence has forced Dallas to lean heavily on depth. George Pickens has significantly increased his role, and Ryan Flournoy has stepped into more prominent targets. In many ways, the Cowboys have scrambled to maintain momentum, but the offensive balance is different with Lamb in the mix. His presence stretches defenses, opens lanes for others, and gives Prescott a premium option downfield. The hope is that reinserting him in Week 7 gives the Cowboys a surer edge in divisional play. From a storyline angle, his anticipated return has raised excitement among fans, analysts, and even defenders who will soon have to remap their game plans. There's buzz in broadcast circles about whether he can step in and immediately swing momentum, or whether there will be a gradual slotting back into the offense. Some predict the Cowboys will ease him in fewer snaps, early limited routes to avoid aggravation. Others argue his elite conditioning and competitive drive will have him ready to roll from the jump if he does return in Week 7. That game itself becomes a pivotal moment. Washington is a division foe, and having Lamb in that matchup could tilt the balance. A strong showing would also signal that he's regained form, boosting Dallas' playoff positioning and morale. Conversely, if he's delayed further or falters upon return, questions will arise about his long-term health and usage for the rest of the season. The narrative arc here is compelling: a superstar taken down by injury, fighting through rehab, and now on the cusp of a comeback. Just when the stakes are rising for Cowboys fans, it's not just about one player returning, it's about restoring one of the core pieces of their identity on offense. As we count down the days to Week 7, all eyes will be on the practice reports Monday, quotes, and whether Lamb emerges from that rehab tent to don the star-spangled uniform once more. If all goes right, the hope is not just for a return, but for a re-energizing of a Dallas offense that's been adapting without him.